Alrighty then. So I've got these 4-inch recessed LED Meconard lights. It's called the 4-inch LED. You get 6 in the box. We're not supposed to talk about it, but I do like their packing because it's all styrofoam in there, and these things, they're covered up nice and neat with this plastic, so they're well protected. I like that. But what you get is you get the LED itself, and on the ad they do state that this is not 4 inches across. Yeah, it's a 4-inch LED, but it's almost 5 inches in diameter. For the entire bezel. The light itself is just about 3 1/8, for the diameter of that, for the visible part. So they're very clear about that. 4 inches is on the inside for the light itself. So they're not trying to hide anything. That's a good thing. I looked them up on the ETL database. I do see these listed here. They're not certified. They're listed, which doesn't mean much. But between the two, listed, certified, either way, it's basically a UL standard that they've met. So good for that. The plug's kind of standard. Some of them have 3, some of them have 4. This one has 4. And one thing that they do emphasize is do not mix and match these. If you have 4-inch and 6-inch, do not mix them up. So don't interchange these things. 4-inch to 6-inch or vice versa, or even a 4-inch nightlight with a 4-inch nightlight. Just don't mix them up. Keep the brands the same. In the box, you get the typical cutout. I think it's about 4 1/8 in diameter. And in the instructions are pretty clear if you need these. Grammar's great, pretty straightforward, to the point. Nothing too crazy or cryptic about it. A little troubleshooting guide over here. I like that. They also give you, this is triac dimmable. If you don't know what that means, call an electrician. Do your research. They have the majority of the ones that will work on this. You get the Lutron, Leverton, and whatnot. These will dim down to 5%. Generally, if they don't, it's because of your dimmer. And they do cover that in the troubleshooting guide over here, which is pretty straightforward. They even say it, that most of their troubleshooting is resolved by the customer themselves once they wire it right or put the right LED in there. So that's good. One thing that's concerning about this is, and they're not trying to hide anything, I'll give them that. They're very straightforward. This does state right here, risk of fire, the maximum ambient temperature is 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Do not operate fixture at a temperature higher than that. It's pretty straightforward. I've never seen that before. So in the summertime in Florida, do not turn these on, or in the desert in the southeast or southwest. Don't use these in the summertime is what I'm saying. I'm not gonna dispute that, but I appreciate them being straightforward and putting that out there. Inside the box, it's a typical box. A lot of these companies are the same. They have one main manufacturer and they're resold under another name. So if you put one in, you're pretty familiar with them all. And this one here, you've got the Kelvin adjust right there. You can see it's 27, 3000, 3500, 4000, and 5K. You can adjust that once you get it plugged in. The box is pretty good steel, pretty heavy steel. Got the typical quick connect push connectors. These are the upgraded UL standard. They're a little bit better push connect. I don't like push connects anyways, but I'll use them on this just to fire it up and show you. But these are the better upgraded versions. You do need a Romex connector on these guys for the knockouts yourself. That's about the only thing they don't supply. Other than that, got the mounting holes. If your code requires this to be mounted on, say, a rafter, you can do that pretty easily. Check your code. Not all states or areas require that. All right, let's plug this in, fire it up, see what it looks like. Okay, got these things fired up. I got it plugged in on my bench, testing it here. Had this on for a minute or two. You can see my watt meter here. Drawing right at 10 watts, steady for a little while, for about 5 minutes. 0.08 amps at 120 volts. They have on their instruction sheet, it's 9 plus 3. 9 watts for the primary, 3 watts for the night light. Right now I have the primary light on the main light at 2700 Kelvin. And I'll keep it pointed at the cardboard to give you an idea of the color. So it's on the lowest, and I'll go right up to the highest. So you can see how it jumps pretty quick to the whitish. So again, that's 5,000. Bump it down to 4,000, 3,500, 3, 2,700. Not too bad. Okay, so there's the main. I'll bump it down a little bit, and then I'll switch it over on the night light. You can get an idea about that. There's the night light. Just turn the switch off once, turn it back on, and now you're in the 3-watt range, and you can see this ring just really lightly lit up. And let my watt meter kind of level out here, but it should come up about 2 or 3 watts. But it's pretty low. These are also wet space rated. It's got this little foam gasket right here, about 1/16 of an inch. If you really don't like it and you're not putting it in a wet space, it's not glued on. You can pull it off pretty easy to give it a closer, tighter fit. But this is the nightlight itself stands proud of the sheetrock. It's going to stand proud about right at 1/4 inch. So expect a 1/4 inch drop out of your ceiling when this is installed. It's not a bad thing. I have other ones like these, and I kind of wish they had this thicker ring, for the nightlight itself. So not too bad. So right now the light's steadied out. My watt meter's reading right at 3 watts, 0.003 or 0.03 amps. So everything they say is true. It's a 9 watt plus 3 watts for the nightlight. So looks pretty good. I like it. All right. So for those who are curious, like me, I wanted to see the build quality of these things. I always take things apart. So this way you don't have to do it. So taking the back off, pulling the spring clips out, the actual immediate metal plate, it's got a little foam pressure plate there. It's got the white reflector inside, and then it's got a couple diffusers in there. Pretty hefty diffusers, about over 1/8 inch thick. Yeah, a 1/16 and an 1/8 inch. But getting down to the meat and potatoes of this thing, you can see it's got an inner ring of LEDs, and they look like 2835s to me. And you got an outer ring. Okay, and the quality looks pretty good. It's not sloppy. It's mass produced. It's just a strip. I can pull this off. It's just glued on. But all the solder joints inside look pretty solid to me. That's the things I look for is, are these cold solder joints or these not? It's hard to get the camera to show it, but I've looked at these very close, and they're pretty good. There's not any sloppy work inside this thing. That's all that makes this up. A bunch of 2835 LEDs, which are not 3528s. If you care, a 2835, 2.8 millimeter by 3.5 millimeter, just has to do with the size. These are more efficient than, if you're familiar with LEDs, 5050s. They draw 0.02 watts per as compared to 0.026 watts. So these are the newer style, and it looks pretty well constructed in my opinion. Like I said, this is a strip. You can pull this off. But now so don't take yours apart.
Pretty excited about these. It's a nice template. Some instructions. Gives you that risk of fire right here. That's nice. I actually have installed these before, some that were similar. Nice frosted glass. Look at that. These just pop right up into the sheetrock, and they're actually really easy to put up and take down. So if you do have to take them out for whatever reason, they come out pretty easily. These have a built-in nightlight. You can see that along the rim, which is awesome, and I'm really excited to try them out. And this little connector here plugs into the junction box. So these are the boxes. You can see they have a way to bolt it to your joist. Inlet there. And little quick connects. So you don't actually need wire nuts. There you go. And then once that is ready to go, you can pop that onto the light and then secure it. Those have this attachment here that comes up and attaches it to your light. Just plugs in, and then this screws on. So one super cool feature of this is you can pick your Kelvin. So if you're doing a bathroom, you might want it down here at 27 to 3000, and living room, kitchen up in the 4 and 5,000. So kitchen definitely 5, but most bathrooms probably around 3. That is so cool. You can just change it depending on where it is. This one is lumen 750. And so you've got to watch that so you don't mix up your junction boxes. I got some that are also 1050 that are a little bit bigger, so those will be suitable for my bigger lights. These are the 4-inch, and I think they're bigger than 4-inch. Let's look. Yep. So there we go. They are actually 5 inches, so maybe because it's for a 4-inch hole in the back. That looks right. There you go. It's for the 4-inch hole. So they're 4 inches on the hole, and then they have that 1/2-inch rim all the way around to make it 5 inches across. So
So from my light switch, the Romex cable runs up into the attic, which I then connected into light number 1. From 1, I ran cable to 2, 2 to number 3, and then 3 circles back to light number 4. At that point, light number 4 reconnected to the existing cable that was running between the light switch and the wall outlet, and that cable comes back down to an outlet that you can't really see, but it's behind the nightstand here. So in the end, we got this beautiful new recessed lighting, and they have this view. If you flip the switch, wait a second in between, they go into this night light mode. Looks really cool at night, gives off just a nice little ambiance to the room. And then to switch back, you just turn the lights off, wait about 3 to 5 seconds, turn them back on, and you've got full light again. Added tons of light to this room that previously had none at all. With no ceiling lights whatsoever. We were limited to just those table lamps before. Very happy with the final product.
Within 5 seconds of turning it off, turn it back on, the night lights appear. You don't have to keep flipping it back and forth. If you leave, come back later on, minute, 30 minutes, an hour, the lights go back to white. Back to white. You literally have to make it right after each other in order for the night light to come on.
It looks very nice. I bought a lot for the whole house. If you turn off and turn it on back and turn it back on, then it changes colors. You wait a little bit and then there you go. Do it back again. You wait like a few seconds and then, yeah, there you go. It's very good. I like it. It's worth it. For movies and all the stuff, I use it for the whole house.
Still in the middle of fixing everything. That is where the original light fixture was. That was the only one that was up on the ceiling, and then there was one there, but we use that wiring to wire these three, and it's this kind of, you turn it back on regular, it does this, and you can dim it or you can turn it up. Turn it off again and turn it back on for regular light. Dim it. That's just mud up there. It has to be painted, but yeah, that's it.
Right now I have these lights, I would say they're about 1 inch wide. I'm going to switch them out for the 4-inch lights that I got. And this is what it looks like installed, and that's what it looks like on. So this is a major difference in the lights that I already had up.
La marciana que le compra, entonces que creo que la libre marciana vale como $1,000.
Sí,
Y está.
a $1,000 para